You trust the blue line. It hums with authority, glowing steady on your phone like a quiet promise. Follow me. I'll take you home. It has carried you through back roads, shortcuts, unfamiliar neighborhoods, and midnight highways. It has delivered you to doors and towns you don't know, comforted you in storm and darkness, saved you from wrong turns, from getting lost. But what if that line lied? What if, one night, the map led you not to safety, but to something that wasn't supposed to exist? This is the story of Emily, a nurse who discovered the terrifying truth that sometimes the map doesn't just mislead you, it deceives you. Emily was no stranger to exhaustion. She worked nights in a hospital in central Ohio, a place where the days blurred together in fluorescent lights and the hum of machinery. She was 27, with steady hands and a tired smile. Her shifts stretched 12, sometimes 14 hours. By the time she slid into her car in the hospital's dimly lit garage, her body was stitched together with caffeine and habit. That night was like any other. She delivered meds, soothed crying families, checked monitors that beeped like restless birds. A normal night in a life built on other people's emergencies. It was 1 a.m. when she pressed her phone into its cradle and tapped her home address. She didn't need directions. She'd driven this route hundreds of times. But the habit was automatic, a ritual she barely thought about. Her thumb hit go, and the blue line unfurled across the screen, pulsing as if alive. She pulled onto the interstate. Empty lanes stretched ahead, blacktop gleaming with a faint wetness from a rain that had passed earlier. Her headlights reached only so far before dissolving into the dark. The voice from the phone was calm, steady, the voice that millions of people trusted every day. First, nothing seemed unusual. A few exits passed, the yellow glow of street lamps faded, and the world outside her windshield became emptier. Then the voice instructed, "Take exit 37. Emily frowned. Exit 37 wasn't her usual route. Normally she stayed straight for another 10 miles before merging toward her neighborhood. But fatigue makes you pliable, and the blue line insisted. She told herself it was a faster route. Maybe there'd been construction. Maybe the app had found a shortcut. She flicked on her signal, slid down the off-ramp, and merged onto a 2-lane road. That's when it changed. The interstate noise fell away. No headlights followed. No houses lined the road. Instead, the pavement narrowed, the paint faded, and the shoulder crumbled into dirt. The voice said again, "Turn left." She did, and the interstate slipped behind her like a door shutting. The road was narrow, hemmed in by towering cornfields that whispered against each other in the night breeze. The stalks leaned inward as if trying to eavesdrop on her tires rolling through the quiet. Her phone's map pulsed brighter, urging her deeper. Turn left, then keep left. Emily tapped recalculate. Her thumb hesitated over the button, but the screen simply redrew the same command. Turn left, then keep left. The voice was no longer friendly. It was stern, insistent. Her headlights caught a solitary mailbox leaning at an angle, its post rotting. No driveway, no house, just the mailbox, standing in front of an ocean of corn. Something about it pricked the back of her neck. The rational part of her brain said, "Turn around. Get back on the highway." But she didn't. She eased the car forward, heart ticking louder than her engine. She would later swear that the air itself felt heavier there, as though the world had thickened around her car, pressing on the glass. Her hands tightened on the wheel. Finally, she stopped. The road ended, not in gravel, not in a cul-de-sac, just ended in stalks taller than her car roof. And then her phone spoke. "You have arrived." She stared at the corn ahead. Silence pressed against her car like water. No crickets, no wind, just her breathing, too fast, too shallow. Emily shifted into reverse, her tires crunching against loose rock. She turned around, forcing her headlights back toward the highway. The voice in the phone repeated, recalculating. "Turn left, then keep left." She snapped the app closed, as if shutting its mouth. When she finally merged back onto the interstate, relief washed over her, though her chest still felt tight. She told herself it was a glitch, a mistake in the map, a late-night hiccup of software. She was a nurse, trained in science and reason. People trusted her. She trusted systems. By morning, she had almost convinced herself. Almost. 2 days later, scrolling her phone on a lunch break, Emily stopped cold. In a regional drivers group online, someone had posted a screenshot. Their navigation app, captured at 1:02 a.m., displayed a blue line leading off an interstate exit into a road that didn't exist. The caption read, "Anyone else get this?" Beneath it, comments piled up. "Same here last night, near Dayton. I followed it. Dead end. Nothing but fields. I swear I saw a house at the end. Went back in daylight, nothing." Emily's heart thumped as she read. She checked the timestamp. 1:02 a.m., exactly the same as her drive. That was when screenshots began to spread. From Ohio, from Indiana, from Kentucky. Always the same pattern. A late-night reroute, a phantom road, a pulsing blue line that ended in nowhere. A trucker posted about being led to a sagging gate in New Jersey. A student in Texas said her map guided her into a closed alley behind a stadium. A cab driver in New Orleans claimed his passenger vanished when the app told him to stop at a vacant lot. Different states, different nights, but the same eerie consistency. And always around 1:02 a.m. People laughed at first. They made jokes about haunted GPS, about phantom shortcuts and ghost roads. Someone even mocked up t-shirts with the phrase "turn left, then keep left." But beneath the jokes, unease grew, because some reports didn't end in laughter. A young couple vanished driving to a wedding. The last text they sent said, "We're taking a weird cut. I'll call soon." Their phones pinged one final time near farmland where other drivers had reported the same phantom route. Search parties found tire tracks that ended in a field. Beyond that, nothing. Emily couldn't shake the feeling that she'd been close to something that night. That if she'd gone a little further, stayed a little longer, she might not have come back. Explanations began to swirl. Technicians blamed corrupted satellite tiles, bad images stitched into digital maps. Others pointed to GPS spoofing, hackers sending false signals to devices. Both theories made sense on paper. But how could different apps on different phones in different states all show the same phantom road at the same time? And why did drivers swear they'd seen shapes in the fields? Figures darker than shadows, standing just out of reach of headlights? Some claimed the roads weren't new, but old. Ghosts of infrastructure. Abandoned farm lanes that had once been real. Maybe the maps were bleeding in fragments of the past. But others whispered a different idea. That the maps were not reflecting the past, but pulling from something else. A layer just beneath ours. A place we weren't meant to reach. Emily told herself she was rational. She told herself to forget it. But she couldn't. Driving home from work, she caught herself slowing near unfamiliar exits, waiting for the voice to direct her. Sometimes she thought she heard it even when the app was closed. A phantom whisper telling her, "Turn left, keep left." One night, she pulled up her route history on her phone. There it was, logged neatly as if it had been real. A line cutting into the corn. A dead end that didn't exist. But when she checked the county map later, the road wasn't there. It had never been there. And then she saw something worse. Others were sharing dashcam clips. In one, the navigation line animated across the windshield. The voice said, "You have arrived." The camera panned across an empty field. For a split second, something shifted in the dark. Too low to be a man. Too tall to be an animal. The driver gunned it back to the highway. In another clip, a driver filmed his screen at 1:02 a.m. His phone displayed a route across farmland, the line pulsing like a heartbeat. He zoomed in. For half a second, the map showed a cluster of structures. Tiny gray squares like houses. Then they vanished. Communities started plotting the reports on a shared map. Red pins dotted rural counties. Old county lines, abandoned railroads, empty fields. A pattern was forming, but no one could explain it. A ham radio operator recorded strange pulses on shortwave frequencies around 1:02 a.m., as though something was broadcasting, calling out. And still, drivers kept following the line. Emily doesn't laugh about it anymore. When she tells her story, her voice falters. She talks about the way the corn pressed in, how the mailbox leaned like it had been waiting, how the air itself grew heavy. She warns people, don't follow the blue line blindly. Screenshot your routes. Share your location with someone. And if your map tells you to turn into nowhere at a time that feels wrong, don't go. Because the map is only as safe as your faith in it. And when it lies, even once, that lie can pull you into the dark. So, have you ever been guided somewhere you shouldn't have been? A back road that didn't exist in daylight? A shortcut that led to nothing? Share your story in the comments. Leave your town, your state, and the time it happened. Maybe together we can build our own map of the things the apps don't want us to see. If this story gave you chills, hit subscribe and ring the bell. Every week, we dive into America's strangest and darkest tales, from haunted highways to ghost towns that still breathe. Thanks for watching. If this gave you chills, hit subscribe and ring the bell. Share your story below, or send it to my submissions email in the description. Stay curious and keep your headlights on.